Hello my darlings, I hope you're all doing very well. In today's video I'm just going to be giving you a health update. As you may have noticed, I have been somewhat documenting my health journey as of lately. For those that are out of the loop, I have this condition called R-CPD. I will write down the long name of it, and what that basically means, I have the inability to burp, which, like I always say, it doesn't sound too dramatic, doesn't sound too serious, but it's affecting my daily life so much at the moment. So the average person burps up to 30 times a day. I do not burp once. So all of that sort of trapped air that you get rid of every single day, and you may not even realize you're doing it, I end up sort of drowning in my own air. So anytime I eat or drink or even talk too much, I get random loud painful hiccups, throat gurgles, incredibly painful bloating. I'm at the point now where I can only eat as soon as I'm done for the day. So if I have filming to do, editing to do, tidying, going out, you know, running errands or whatever, going to see people, I will not eat until I'm like, okay, I'm home, I know I don't have to do anything else, and I can eat, and then I can sort of lay down, have a nap or whatever. It's bad. And this condition unfortunately isn't very well known. It's not recognised by the NHS, and the only cure for it is to have Botox in my throat, which of course is incredibly expensive. You can have it sort of done in office, which is around about £800 to £1,000 depending, and the success rate is pretty high, but there's still a chance it won't work, or you'll need to do it a few times, which of course adds up. It becomes more expensive. Or you can go under, as in, you know, be put to sleep and have it done that way. It's a bit more accurate and the success rate is a little bit higher, but again, there's a chance, you know, with Botox it wears off around about 3 months, so there's a chance that, you know, your muscle that allows you to burp won't retain that muscle memory, and you have to keep having the Botox, which is kind of rare, but some people do need to have it 2 or 3 times, and knowing my luck, that will probably be me. Oh, I quickly want to mention something that a lot of people have been suggesting, and I keep forgetting to mention it in a video. A lot of people have suggested some over-the-counter medicine that contains an ingredient, I think it's called simethicone or something like that, I'm not sure the correct pronunciation. It's basically this medicine that collects all the gas bubbles within your system and kind of makes it into one large one, and then you can pass it, you know, through a lot quicker and a lot more easier. I used to take something called wind settlers. I've got some in my bag, hang on. My bag's turned into one of these like Mary Poppins bags, you know, like there's so much stuff in it. Like I've got tattoo plasters here, like they're plasters that look like tattoos. They're kind of cool. Anyway, hairbrush, I've got socks in here, gloves. Okay, found them. So these used to work. That's it, simethicone or something like that. Yeah, wind settlers. But they unfortunately do not work anymore. They just don't touch the sides. So thank you for everyone that suggested them and what have you, or something like that. But unfortunately, the air bubbles that get in my system are so, there's just too many. Like even if I take 2 of those, which is like the maximum you can take. Anyway, so a lot of people, including my auntie, who has been on my case non-stop, recommended that I just go to my local GP, which is NHS based, which is basically, yeah, you just call up like, hi, hello, can I have an appointment please, kind of thing, and you don't have to pay for it. It's all, you know, free on the NHS, right? So I called up the doctors, I think it was on Monday, and I was like, hey, I've got health concerns, I'd like to speak to a doctor. It's not urgent because I didn't want to book an emergency appointment and then someone else who really needed the appointment, you know, couldn't have the appointment because I'm just like, oh, I can't burp, you know, like I'd feel bad. So I was like, it's not an emergency, just like whenever you have a free appointment, could I have one please? And the people in the reception at this doctor's place are always incredibly lovely and sweet and what have you, so they're like, yeah, of course, can give you a phone appointment on Friday at 9 AM, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll take it. Like, that's early for me, but I'm willing to, you know, be awake and alive at 9 AM and have this telephone appointment. A lot of doctors' surgeries across the UK, I would imagine, and maybe all around the world. I have a hiccup coming, hang on. Oh, that's what I'm talking. I haven't eaten or drank anything yet. It's 12 PM. I knew I was gonna like film this video, so I was like, there's just no point. Otherwise I'm gonna be hiccuping and making noises all over the gaff. But obviously I'm taking in air from talking. Anyway, yeah, so in the UK and I guess around the rest of the world, a lot of doctors, surgeries or GPs or whatever are taking over the phone consultations just because of the pandemic, and I guess they realise that it kind of works for them. But trying to get your point across over the phone is, I mean, when you have, you know, somewhat social anxiety, I mean, I have just general anxiety, to be honest with you, but, you know, phone calls with people that I don't know are never fun. So I had my appointment yesterday morning and the doctor rang me and he kind of was like, you know, what's your issue kind of thing. And I didn't mention R-CPD, but I listed off every symptom that I have, kind of like I was reading, you know, the internet, right? I tried to make it very easy, brief, short, to the point, because I know doctors are very, very busy and he kind of had this rushed mentality anyway. So I was like, right, I just need to get this over and done with. I just need to spout out all of my symptoms and when it started to get worse, because I do take, I can never say it correctly, Omzoripol or something like that, because I do have heartburn issues. It kind of runs in my family, like my mum's side of the family for generations have had bad acid issues. I mean, mine got progressively worse as I got older, like my auntie did. She started taking medication around the same age I did as well. I went to the doctors a couple of months ago for that, and the doctor then it was a different doctor, was lovely and very sympathetic, and I had a phone consultation for that, and the doctor that I had then was so sweet and lovely and, you know, just great, a great doctor. The two doctors that I've seen at this surgery beforehand have been so sweet and lovely. This one though, I mean, I guess with everything there's a bad apple, right? But yeah, anyway, I've been taking Omzoripol, or however you say it, for a couple of months, and that's what's made this condition worse. But I need to take it because if you don't treat, you know, acid issues, it can lead to much worse problems down the line, you know, like the big C word, cancer. You know, you're very susceptible to that kind of thing. And, you know, I witnessed my mum go through cancer for 9 years, like on and off, and then she unfortunately passed away from that. So like I'm trying to not go down that path, you know, like I don't, you know, like so yeah, I was on the phone with my doctor, listed off all the symptoms, and then he said, oh, I noticed that you're taking Omzoripol, or however you say it. I said that helps a lot with my acid issues, but since taking that, my no burping, really bad bloating, you know, not being able to eat, you know, big meals during the day has started happening. And he was like, okay, well, it sounds like you might have an infection. I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking, because I thought, oh, I might get diagnosed with IBS, because that seems to be like the common path for a lot of people that have R-CPD. There is this Reddit forum that I'm a huge lurker of. I've posted a couple of times, but yeah, there's this Reddit forum called r/noburp, and a lot of people put in what they've been misdiagnosed with, and the majority seems to be like IBS. So I was kind of expecting that to be a thing. I know I don't have IBS because I don't have any of the symptoms of IBS apart from like bloating or whatever, but my bloating is trapped air. I don't have any food allergies or anything like that. You know, I can eat and drink whatever I fancy. Well, not anymore, but so I kind of was just, you know, playing up to it and being like, oh, okay, right, kind of thing. Just like, because I was just like, oh, this is just not going to go anywhere for me, right? Like I was saying, I was somewhat expecting to be misdiagnosed with IBS, or for this doctor to be like, okay, so we're going to take you off of Omzoripol or whatever you call it and give you something else to see if that helps you. You know, like that seemed logical in my brain. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I didn't study for years and years and years to be a doctor, so maybe I'm wrong, but that just seemed logical in my opinion, okay? No, we have an infection, people, okay? I've had an infection for 32 years. I'm a medical miracle. I've been alive for 32 years and I haven't been able to burp for 32 years, right? I don't know if I burped as a baby. I don't have anyone to ask, to be honest with you. Like my mum's, you know, dead. And my dad's not in my life, so I don't know who to ask if I was a hard kid to burp. But for as long as I can remember, I know I haven't been able to burp, right? So that means that this infection is 32 years old. How am I not dead? How am I not dead? How am I not dead? Make it make sense. It makes zero sense to me at all. What are the main symptoms of an infection? I guess if for a stomach infection, it would be stomach aches, throwing up, which I haven't done. Like I haven't thrown up oh my god, I've got no wood to touch. Wood. I'm emetophobic. But I haven't thrown up since I was like 2 weeks away from being 15. That was the last time I actually threw up. So yeah, I haven't been like throwing up. I don't have a fever, I don't have a temperature, I don't feel unwell, you know, like the general unwell feeling you have when you might have an infection. I don't know, never really had one. Well, I've had a throat infection before, you know, like, so not tonsillitis, but I used to get really bad like sore throats. I think it might have been strep, I don't know, because that's doing its rounds lately. So I know what it feels like to have, you know, an illness or an infection like that. So then the doctor said, what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to bring in a stool sample. A muscle in my throat doesn't work, okay? A muscle in my throat doesn't work, my friend. You don't need to be looking at my poo for this. I have a broken muscle, like what? And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, yeah, we'll look at that and see, you know, what's going on. And I was like, okay, cool, thank you very much. And it was kind of like the end of the conversation. Now, obviously, I just don't think it's worth me shitting in a lunchbox for them to see that there's nothing there. There's nothing. You'll just see my diet is bad, okay? That's what you'll see. You'll see that I'm living on one meal a day. How much nutrients can I get in one meal a day? Oh god. So I kind of just stewed on it for like a couple of hours. I was just like, what the like, how can you misdiagnose someone so hard like this? An infection. I should be dead. I still can't get over it, honestly. Like, you know, the IBS route would have made a bit more sense, but an infection, you know, oh my god. So yeah, I stewed on it for a bit, and I was kind of just, oh, it just ruined my day. I mean, every day is a bad day at the minute, I won't lie to you. Like, this is probably the worst I've felt mentally and physically in a very long time. I had a pretty bad time in 2019 where my mental health was in the shitter, and I'm feeling like that at the minute. I just feel I just feel crap. Like, to put it, you know, bluntly, I just don't, like, everything's just so meh at the moment. And, you know, today, Saturday, is a day that I was meant to go out with Yasmin and Holly to London. We were going to go and see the Nightmare Before Christmas concert. My last train from where I used to live. What the plan was Yasmin was going to drive there, and then she's going to drop me off at the train station, and then I'll get the train back, kind of thing. What is this bit of hair doing? Like, do you know what side you're meant to be on? My last train was at like 20 to 11 or something, and we thought we weren't just going to make it. So it was a case of like, I stay at Yasmin's or I wait for Tom to come and pick me up, but he's working today and he wouldn't finish till very late. And then he's got work again tomorrow, and it just wasn't going to happen. I mean, if I was feeling 100% and I was good, I would have been like, oh, I'll get a hotel, or I'll stay at Yasmin's, or, you know, I'll wait for Tom to come and get me. But then I won't be eating until gone midnight. Like, that's a whole day of not eating, you know, barely drinking. And it's just, it's not ideal. You know, like, it's just, oh, God. So I've let Yasmin down. I'm not going to cry this time. I've yet again let Yasmin down. And she, of course, has been very understanding and kind and caring. She's like, I'm not mad. Don't even think about it, right? It's fine. You know, you're not well. You know, we'll get you better eventually and everything will be fine again, kind of vibe, right? But next weekend we've got plans to go to Southampton to see one of our favourite comedians, and hopefully that will be doable. Again, I won't be eating probably until like 11 p.m. or whatever, but we're staying there, so it'll be a case of like, we watch the show, go back to the hotel, and then I order some food or whatever and eat, and then at least I'm laying on a bed straight away, kind of thing. So hopefully I'll be okay. Oh God, here we go. From talking. Literally from talking. But yeah, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. I stewed on this whole thing, and I was just getting so annoyed and angry about, you know, having someone say you have an infection for something that I've dealt with for 32 years. So Tom was off yesterday, so he was playing on the PlayStation. I was like, I'm gonna go upstairs and play World of Warcraft. But I quickly thought, well, I wonder if my doctor's surgery has an email address that I can email and just be like, hey, like, this isn't cool, like, kind of vibe. And there was a message form situation. I'll flag up a picture here so you can see it. And I was like, oh I should message them through this. Like, this is the only hope I have of getting my point across, just in hopes that they don't ever give someone an infection again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wrote my message on like Google Docs or whatever you call it, right? And then I sent it to them. I'm going to read it to you so you can see the full tea, right? But I wrote it on Google Docs just for, you know, spelling and all of that, because I'm not the best speller. And I wanted to make sure it was like punctuated okay and, you know, written properly. And then I copied and pasted it into the message bit. And then I sent it to myself on email as well, just so it's in my emails. And I have it here, you know. I can show you, like, yeah, I sent it to myself. Do you see my broken laptop screen there? Yeah. It's great, isn't it? Oh God, okay. I need to get a drink because my throat is so dry. Okay, drink. It's, I don't know what flavour this is. I think it's cherry something, I don't know. But yeah, okay, I'm going to read this to you. So this is what I sent to the doctor's office, right? Whether I get a reply or not, I don't know. I'm not hoping for much. It does say on the like website that it takes around about 5 days for a reply or an acknowledgement or something like that, and I sent it yesterday, Friday, now the weekend. In the UK, doctors' offices aren't open over the weekend, I believe, unless you make a special request or special appointment or something, I don't know. So it started off with, "Hi there," because I didn't know who to address it to. Like, I didn't want it to be too formal, you know? Oh God, here we go. And I said, "My name is Lauren Sharp," which is my legal last name, but I don't use it because I want to change it to Petrie, which is my mum's side of the family's last name, and it was what my mum's last name was before she got married. Sharp is my father's last name, and I just need to change it legally, basically, which I haven't done yet because I had to get a new passport before I went on holiday with Yasmin. And yeah, I've only just bought a new passport, you know, so like if I have to change my last name legally, that means I have to buy a new passport, so I've just been putting it off. Anyway, and I said my date of birth is 14th of January 1990. Again, so they can just pull up their records kind of thing, because when you ring up my doctor's surgery, they're like, "What's your name? What's your date of birth?" So yeah. Anyway, I recently had a phone appointment with one of your doctors on Friday the 9th of December. I regrettably don't remember his name, which I don't remember his name. I don't know if he even told me his name. He might have, but I had a phone appointment to address some pretty heavy health concerns I have as of lately, which includes never, in capitals, being able to burp, and then in brackets, for my whole life, painful bloating, gurgles in my throat, and not being able to eat because of this until I'm done for the day, as I have to lay down for hours after a meal, which, you know, you've all seen. The doctor, in brackets, who barely listened to me and didn't take me seriously, end of bracket, then suggested I had an infection and that I would need to give a stool sample and to eat 3 meals a day, even though I said that eating is a miserable time for me at the moment. I would like to know how I could possibly have I get quite Karen in this, by the way. Like, I've had a lot of people message me that have, you know, chronic illnesses and what have you, say that they have been fobbed off by doctors and all of that for many years, and you just kind of have to be incredibly stern and, you know, fight for yourself, even though it might come across kind of rude or what have you. And it hurts me to be kind of like, you know, pushy or rude or Karen-y, because I worked in retail for like 6+ years and I have dealt with a lot of horrible people. But this is obviously to do with my health, and I'd hope people understand, like, this is like a serious thing. And yeah, I hope nobody sees me differently for messaging a message like this, you know, like, I don't know. But I'm not like this ever, okay, I promise you. It's just like, I'm fed up. I'm so freaking fed up. Anyway, I would like to know how I could possibly have an infection for 32 years and still be alive, as I've had these symptoms the majority of my life, but have got increasingly bad since I started taking omeprazole, or however you say it, in October for an unrelated issue of heartburn. The doctor didn't even recommend I try taking something else for this, just in case it is the omeprazole that is the issue, ... which it is. Instead, he used the big scary word of infection. Now, luckily for me, I know what is wrong with me. It's called R-CPD. It was only given a name in 2019, so of course it's somewhat new and not very well known. So I maybe should expect a doctor who works as a health professional to know this, ... Or maybe I should. Oh, sassy bitch. R-CPD is the cause of when the muscle in your throat that allows you to burp doesn't relax enough to allow you to burp, resulting in a person basically drowning in their own air. It's an incredibly miserable condition to have, and it's affecting my daily life. Like I said, I can't eat until I'm done doing whatever I need to do for the day, resulting in me not eating my first meal until very late at night sometimes, which of course isn't healthy. No matter what I eat or drink, big or small, I get symptoms. Hell, I get symptoms if I talk a lot because of taking in air, which we have just seen doing this video. I get very painful hiccups, normally 2 or 3 in a row. My stomach and throat become so full of air that I get out of breath very quickly, basically like a heavily pregnant person, but instead of a baby in my stomach, it's air. And like I mentioned earlier, I get these very loud gurgle noises in my throat. These are textbook R-CPD symptoms that I and many others have. My life is at a standstill at the moment. I can't go out and spend time with friends without starving myself, and even then I'll possibly have symptoms occur due to talking, laughing, etc. Out of breath. I can't go out to a meal, which at this time of year is normally quite often, so I'm missing out there. In fact, I can't go out and do much of anything at the moment due to not being able to eat and having low energy. It's affecting my mental health considerably, which is something I struggle with anyway, which is correct. I mean, they can look at my records. I'm diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which is something I've, again, dealt with most of my life. The cure for this as of now is to get Botox injected into the muscle, which is incredibly expensive as it has to be done privately, and there is only a very small amount of health professionals offering this, but they have had a great success rate. This is where it gets even more, you know, I have some links that might be helpful to you. Here's a link to a document about R-CPD, the symptoms, x-rays, photos, etc. And I'm actually going to leave a link down below to that if you're interested and want to see, you know, this whole shebang of a document. I don't know, it's only 7 pages, so it's not like massive, but it's an interesting read. And then I linked some of my videos, which I don't know, is that taking things too far? I don't know. But it just shows, you know, what I've been through. I do have an unlisted video of one of my throat gurgles, which is a vlog of where I documented, you know, the food that I eat and all of that. But again, I'll leave that down below if you want to see just that clip that you've already seen. But it's just, you know, it's just a clip of a gurgle, just so it's there. Should I ever need it. Like I said, here is a video of me having a throat gurgle that I mentioned earlier. These happen all day, every day, even after drinking some water. It's basically trapped air moving around. And I said, here is a full video of me talking about how R-CPD affects me daily and showing my symptoms, which is this video. And then here's a day-to-day video of what I eat and my symptoms, which was my vlog video that I did recently. And then I said, here's a link to a forum full of thousands of people who suffer with the same condition, which is the Reddit no burp. I called it a forum, but it's Reddit, but you know, I don't know. Anyway, we're nearly done. I'm hoping with all of this information, the doctors and nurses can never misdiagnose someone again who has the same symptoms. It is incredibly dangerous and can lead to many people doing treatments, taking medication, and having appointments after appointments, which are also unnecessary. It's also a huge waste of doctors and nurses' time, resources, and we all know the NHS is incredibly underfunded as it is. I was encouraged by many to have a doctor's appointment, as of course you're meant to help in any way you can, and that is what I was hoping for. But today I didn't get any help or relief, just a misdiagnosis like I expected, and as many others that have this condition have over years and years. Thank you, Lauren. I feel like I got my point across that way. I don't know, like at the end of the day, like I do feel bad because being a doctor is incredibly stressful, obviously. And they don't have to know every condition, and it's not just my condition, it's other stuff like IBS, Crohn's, PCOS, endometriosis, I can't say that word. Endometriosis. Oh my god, why can't I say it? I can normally say it, and I'm going to type it here. But all of these sort of conditions get looked over and misdiagnosed all the time. It's so frustrating because at the end of the day, doctors are humans and all of that, and humans make mistakes or they look over things and what have you. This is people's livelihoods that they're, you know, just being a bit blasé about, not maybe blasé, but not taken seriously or misdiagnosing, you know, like it just, I don't know. It's a thing, isn't it? So now that obviously the doctor isn't going to be doing anything for me, well, they might. The best case scenario from me doing this message is they read it, take it seriously, and then maybe one of the doctors that I've seen before kind of, you know, wants to see me or something like that. That would be the best case scenario in my point, that they take that message seriously and they're like, call me in and be like, oh, let's just swap your acid medication and all of that, right? The worst case scenario is they read that message and think, wow, what a bitch, fire me from the doctor's surgery. You know, they're just like, right, get rid of her, she needs to go to another surgery. And that's what my auntie said. She's like, oh, be careful that they don't like strike you off. And I'm like, well, there's other doctor surgery in this town. I'll just do the rounds. I'll just go to them all. It's like Pokemon. I just start collecting doctor surgery. Oh, I'm laughing, but people have to do this. Like, people literally have to fight, and they get, you know, just, you know, shunned away. And it's so... This whole thing has been so incredibly eye-opening because, you know, I've been relatively healthy for most of my life, of course, apart from this R-CPD thing, but, you know, it's only become sort of chronic lately. And it just makes you realise, like, wow, there's people that have been doing this, fighting for their health for the majority of their lives, and they never get taken seriously, or they're just misdiagnosed left, right and centre, and they're never taken care of properly. And it just, like, it's like healthy privilege is a thing. Like, let me tell you, like, I never really thought about it. And, you know, obviously I've seen, you know, my mum be incredibly ill, but it's not like I've never been around ill people, you know. But it's just eye-opening. It's so eye-opening. So that's pretty much the update that I have for you at the moment. And then, yeah, next year I will be messaging the couple of doctors that do offer the Botox to see, you know, what I can do, what my options are, how soon can I get an appointment, because I'm hoping by February I will be good and I will be able to burp and all of that. That's the best case scenario. If I'm stuck in this limbo for the rest of my life, oh my god, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's weighing very, very heavy on me right now. That's what I can say. Like, it's doing a number. But luckily I have, you know, a nice little support system, you know, with my friends and Tom and my auntie, who keeps checking up on me. And I'm going to hers for Christmas, and she's like, well, obviously, you know, eat what you can at Christmas if you want to eat, and if you don't want to eat, that's fine. And, you know, we have plenty of beds here, so once you've eaten, you can go and have a little lay down. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, thank you so much, you know. It's nice that people in my life are taking me seriously, because if they weren't, god, I don't know, like that would be a whole other weight on my shoulders, you know. But yeah, that's all I have on the update front for you. Let me just quickly check my emails just in case. No, just emails telling me I've had parcels delivered. That's it. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for all the kind messages and comments and people trying to help in any way they can. It means a lot to me, it really does. And thank you for sticking by me, especially as I upload this content, because it's obviously not like my regular content, but I feel like it's more beneficial for me to just document this, you know, process, and for other people that might have the same condition as me, that struggle, you know, day to day, like I have been. And maybe it's helpful or comforting for people that have, you know, chronic illnesses that are, they know their diagnosis and they're getting treatment, or they're sort of in the same process as me, like trying to get help or whatever. And yeah, I guess it makes people feel not so alone. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, until my next video, bye.